Have you ever wondered what would happen if a human could control the most dangerous predator that ever lived? 2.3 million years ago, Krag discovered this terrifying power, and his T-Rex companion would reshape prehistoric survival forever. In the brutal world of 2.3 million years ago, where death stalked every shadow and survival meant conquering or being conquered, lived Krag, a 30-year-old hunter of the Bloodfang tribe. He was known throughout the prehistoric landscape as a savage warrior whose ferocity in battle was matched only by his cunning in the hunt. His muscular frame bore countless scars from encounters with giant predators, and his cold, calculating eyes had witnessed horrors that would break lesser men. But Krag had not always been this way. Once, he had been a different man, gentler, more compassionate, leading hunting parties with wisdom rather than brutal force. That all changed on the day that would forever alter his destiny and awaken powers he never knew existed within his primitive mind. The traumatic event came without warning during what should have been a routine mammoth hunt. Krag was leading 12 of his finest warriors through the dense prehistoric forests when they encountered something that defied all natural order. A pack of dire wolves, massive beasts with fangs like daggers, had cornered not just any prey, but Krag's younger brother Thane and his hunting party. What followed was a massacre of unprecedented brutality. Krag watched helplessly as the dire wolves tore through his brother's group like leaves in a hurricane. Thane's desperate screams echoed through the forest as the massive predators overwhelmed them one by one. When Krag finally reached the scene, he found nothing but blood-soaked earth and scattered bones. His brother, his closest friend, his last remaining family, all gone in a matter of minutes. In that moment of absolute devastation, something snapped deep within Krag's consciousness. The trauma triggered a primitive part of his brain that had lain dormant for millennia, an ancient connection to the apex predators that ruled the prehistoric world. As he knelt among the remains of his fallen brother, a raw, primal scream erupted from his throat, carrying with it not just grief, but a supernatural call that reached far beyond the physical world. Miles away, in a massive cave system carved into the heart of an extinct volcano, something stirred in response to that anguished cry. Doomclaw the Terrible, a colossal T-Rex standing over 15 meters tall, lifted his massive head from centuries of slumber. This was no ordinary dinosaur. He was ancient beyond measure, a primordial apex predator who had witnessed the rise and fall of countless species. Doomclaw's intelligence far surpassed that of his younger kin. Age and experience had made him cunning, patient, and utterly merciless. His massive jaws could crush boulders to dust, his razor-sharp claws could tear through the thickest hide, and his thunderous roar could paralyze prey from miles away. But most terrifying of all was his ability to sense the minds of those who called to him across the prehistoric wilderness. The telepathic connection formed gradually over several weeks. At first, Krag experienced only strange dreams filled with images of massive jaws and prehistoric landscapes he had never seen. Then came the whispers, a deep rumbling voice that spoke directly into his mind, promising power beyond his wildest imagination in exchange for something far more dangerous than simple partnership. Doomclaw was not interested in mere companionship. The ancient predator sought domination, conquest, and the establishment of an empire built on fear and absolute power. Through their growing mental link, he showed Krag visions of what they could accomplish together. Entire tribes bowing before their combined might, rival hunters fleeing in terror, and the prehistoric world reshaped according to their savage will. As their bond strengthened, Krag began to change. His already formidable hunting skills became supernatural in their precision. He could sense prey from impossible distances, predict the movements of dangerous predators, and strike with the calculated brutality of a true apex hunter. But more disturbing was how his personality shifted toward something darker and more ruthless. The first manifestation of their partnership came during a territorial dispute with the rival Skullcrusher tribe. These enemies had been raiding Bloodfang territory for months, killing their people and stealing their resources. Traditional warfare had proven ineffective against their superior numbers and brutal tactics. That changed the night Doomclaw emerged from his mountain stronghold to answer Krag's call for vengeance. The massive T-Rex materialized from the prehistoric darkness like a living nightmare, his footsteps shaking the very ground as he approached the Skullcrusher encampment. His eyes glowed with predatory intelligence as he surveyed the terrified warriors who had never faced anything remotely approaching his size and ferocity. But this was not merely a random attack by a wild predator. This was strategic warfare, guided by telepathic coordination between human cunning and dinosaur might. Krag directed Doomclaw with precision that bordered on the supernatural, targeting specific enemies, eliminating key leaders, and systematically dismantling the rival tribe's entire power structure. The battle was over before it truly began. The Skullcrusher warriors, despite their reputation for savage brutality, stood no chance against the coordinated assault of human intelligence and dinosaur devastation. Their spears and clubs were useless against Doomclaw's armored hide, their battle cries were drowned out by his earth-shaking roars, and their courage evaporated like morning mist before the reality of facing a true apex predator. In a matter of minutes, the entire Skullcrusher tribe was either dead or scattered to the winds, never to threaten anyone again. Krag stood among the carnage, his eyes reflecting the same cold satisfaction he sensed from his massive companion. They had not merely won a battle, they had announced their dominance over the prehistoric world. Word of the Bloodfang tribe's impossible victory spread like wildfire through the ancient landscape. Other tribes began sending tribute rather than risk facing the legendary T-Rex and his savage human partner. Hunting grounds that had been contested for generations suddenly became uncontested territory under their rule. But conquest brought its own challenges. Krag found himself changing more with each victory, becoming more ruthless, more calculating, and increasingly dependent on the raw power that Doomclaw provided. The gentle hunter he had once been was buried beneath layers of savage pragmatism and an insatiable hunger for dominance. The prehistoric world had gained its most feared predatory partnership, but at what cost? As Krag stood atop his conquered territory, sharing thoughts and strategies with the ancient T-Rex whose loyalty he had earned through blood and violence, he realized that he had become something entirely new, neither fully human nor completely beast, but a hybrid consciousness that represented the ultimate evolution of prehistoric survival. Their reign of domination had only just begun, and the ancient world would never again be the same. From the highest mountains to the deepest valleys, the thunderous footsteps of Doomclaw the Terrible announced a new era where survival belonged not to the strongest individuals, but to those bold enough to forge alliances with the apex predators that ruled the prehistoric darkness. If you want to witness more incredible tales of prehistoric partnerships that defied the natural order and reshaped ancient survival, subscribe to join our journey through the mysteries of human evolution. Hit that like button if this story of savage dominance amazed you as much as it would have terrified those rival tribes. Tell us in the comments, would you have the courage to form a telepathic bond with a massive T-Rex to protect your people? The most brutal part of this saga is yet to come in our next video, where we'll reveal what happened when other tribes began seeking their own dinosaur allies and how prehistoric warfare escalated into battles between human-dinosaur partnerships that shook the ancient world. The legend of Krag the Doomcaller became a cornerstone of prehistoric survival wisdom, proving that sometimes the greatest power comes not from conquering nature, but from becoming one with its most dangerous forces.